Expedition 33 was the last game that I played, and I was immediately within the first 2 hours of playing it. By the way, this is why I do this So I Played series. It's the first 2 hours, 3 hours of a game, and within that time I can pretty much know whether this is going to be a game I'm going to love, or whether this is going to be one I'm just going to grind through to see what the story is, or I'm just not going to like it. But one that I think I played like 20 minutes and immediately was like, oh man, was Arc Raiders, and it's gone now. The playtest is gone, and Jack Frags has a video out on it saying Arc Raiders is absolutely sublime. And I think this is just going to be a breakdown of what this game is and why it is so good. And I'm hoping he has some intel as to when we are going to get to play this game again, because as of right now, the playtest is gone and there's no news, at least that I know of, as to when we're going to get to play this thing again. So let's hear what Jack says.
I can say that a game has sunk its teeth into me as much as Arc Raiders did. Recently, they had a tech test for the game lasting a few days that has now sadly ended. And whilst I realise that the honeymoon phase is still definitely in full swing, I can't help but feel like Embark Studios, who created the game, are onto something special here. They actually put effort in.
Which, by the way, just a side note, Embark made the finals. The finals was the last first-person shooter game that was not like a Call of Duty, Battlefield, anything big, that I was like, they're on to something here. So this studio is a studio to frickin' watch.
And it shows. The game was originally announced in 2021 as a free-to-play PvE shooter set to release in 2022. It was then delayed so the studio could focus on their other game at the time, the finals, before revealing in May 2023 that Arc Raiders would now evolve into a PvPvE extraction.
Now, I would love to have seen what the PvE shooter of this would have actually been, because I love a good PvE looter shooter. But what they have done here with the suspense and the gameplay loop that they've done with Arc Raiders is really good. So I will say that.
Game and become a premium product. Release date TBA. Since then, the game has been extensively developed, tested and iterated on with the community. The earliest I personally played the game was June 2023 in a closed alpha playtest. There was a Discord server set up too for providing feedback on the game and chatting with the developers. Simply put, they've been cooking and not rushing it either, letting people play what they created early, taking feedback on it, iterating.
So here's what I'll say. This game needs to come out this year. This game needs to come out this fall at the latest. This game needs to come out soon, because the hype, if they miss this hype train that they have right now, because this is the biggest, I don't know whether it's because it came, like they put out the playtest alongside Marathon, it was just miles better than Marathon. This game needs to come out sooner than later.
Trying again and again and again. As of today, we still don't know a release date. 2025 is all we've got. I imagine at this point, October, November is looking likely. The recent playtest was quite limited in terms of access, although it did feature Xbox and PS5, which was nice for those guys, and on Steam, the maximum peak player count hit 21,000 players. And I'm sure that all of that provided invaluable data for the dev team. But why has it left?
Here's what was interesting though, is the viewers on Twitch were high, and the player count continuously went up, whereas Marathon, the player count continuously went down.
Such an impression, and why has there been so much buzz about it? Let's get the elephant out of the room first. It's an extraction game. Some love them, some hate them.
Yeah, that's
obviously,
true.
There's a big market out there. And I think especially for consoles spare Hunt Showdown, there really hasn't been many excellent examples. No one has managed to crack that market and hang on
Also,
to it as much as Escape from Tarkov had.
Can we just like take a second and like, I'm going to make sure that this is on as high quality as possible. This game is gorgeous looking.
Which is definitely showing its age nowadays, but Arc Raiders could be the answer to that. How though? Well, the first thing that strikes me about this game is the quality of it and how well it nails the fundamentals before building an extraction game on top. What I mean by that is that I load it up and most stuff looks and feels like I expect it to, and it consistently hits a high bar. We'll start with the graphics, the thing that you're looking at 100% of the time. The presentation here is incredible.
Yep.
Embark have somehow got an Unreal Engine 5 game with massive maps to not only look graphically impressive, but perform excellently at the same time. Players on older spec PC systems were pleasantly surprised when they could run the game on high settings at a smooth frame rate.
Do you know what? There is one word, literally a word that describes this. And it's a word that Call of Duty does horribly. It is a word that most games nowadays do pretty horribly on launch. And this is in a tech test and it did well. That word is optimization. The optimization in this game is incredibly good.
And not get that typical stuttering that they were used to on other Unreal Engine 5 games. Yes, I feel like they have some issues with level of detail and popping on some of the rocks and foliage, etc. But majority of the time, I think this game looks amazing. The lighting, the vibes, you feel like you're entering a fleshed out alternative universe version of Earth that's truly been ravaged for centuries by horrific arc killing machine robots. The audio design too, impeccable, chef's kiss. There's some deep atmospheric and ambient sound systems happening all the time. The sound of distant gunshots, the weird noises that the bad guys make, I couldn't fault it. The animations are very impressive too. With this being a third-person game, they get a real opportunity to show off these systems. Most notably,
the third-person thing is going to be the biggest downfall of this game. I'll tell you right now, if this was a first-person shooter and it was this good, this would be exploding. Like, just, I think the third person, I don't know what it is, but the third person barrier to entry is, and specifically in multiplayer games, is just not on the same level as first person. And someone's got to do like a detailed, like actual, like psychological explanation as to why. But
with how the characters move and traverse the environments, extra little details when you begin to sprint, tire out, slide, climb up railings and walls, spraining your ankle when you take a bad fall. It all adds to the game feeling natural and believable. Physics plays a big part of this too, not just for your character, but also the enemies that you fight. Drones spiraling out of control, but attempting to still fly despite losing an engine or two. And going back to what I mentioned about the fundamentals, the input and response time of this game is excellent. For the most part, the guy I'm controlling does what I want him to in an intuitive manner. When I'm in fights with people, I don't feel like I'm also fighting my keyboard or the game engine at the same time. I'm not noticing any perceptible input lag. I can move, crouch, roll, aim and track efficiently, and this led to some
So the one thing that I did find interesting here is that I don't play keyboard and mouse almost ever on video games, and I did on this one, and it didn't feel bad. And normally for me, a person who's played controller forever, I would really struggle with that. But maybe because it was third person, I didn't. But I actually enjoyed playing mouse and keys on this.
Excellent and satisfying fights with other players and squads where I did feel skill was involved, and even death was satisfying if I had a good scrap with someone who bested me. The movement in general, very fluid, getting around the environments, clambering over the rooftops at pace. There's a surprising amount of detail in, I guess, what you would call a parkour system here. You think it will work, you action it, and most of the time it does. So that's the first major win for Arc Raiders. For me, they've nailed the fundamentals. It looks good, sounds good, it runs well, it feels good to shoot and move. Many games do not put that stuff first, and when you play a game that...
Honestly, this gun that he's using here, the Stitcher, it's like super easy weapon to come across. You'll come across one every single... I found it like one of the best weapons. It was like an SMG pistol, and it like, I loved it. It was super good weapon.
The difference is striking. Another major reason I think this game will be popular is that you don't have to play it like a typical extraction game, and it can still be really fun.
Explain.
I'm guessing this will be a huge positive note for solo players especially.
Yeah.
I was having experiences where I would load into a raid with a specific quest or a mission, usually solo, and just get lost in the world, the ambience, doing my own thing, kind of like a single player game in a way. If I was stealthy and careful, I could avoid the AI. I could avoid other players. I didn't have to run towards the red flares in the sky when a player got knocked. I just ignored them and did my own thing, got to my quest location, looted a specific cupboard or melee killed a specific bot that I needed, stole the components, snuck out, made my way to an extraction, and I got out of there, mission complete. The best part about this too is that if you play solo, the game prioritizes matching you with other solo players. For some reason, many other contemporary games don't do this.
Just call it marathon.
And they don't think about the vast amount of gamers out there who want to or have to play solo.
So this is a thing you've definitely, if you've watched this channel, you've heard me say it before. If a game wants to be popular and a game wants to be good, you have to be able to play it solo on the same level that you would play it with a squad. There are exceptions to this, and specifically the thing that comes to mind is like raids in Destiny or something like that. But if you can't play the game solo, it is never going to be as popular as it should be. End of story. That is it.
Solo for whatever reason. And the game design in some of these other titles falls apart because they weren't building the game with the intention of that in the first place. And in these solo rounds, because of systems like proximity chat in Arc Raiders, when I ran into other real players, I could often talk to them and de-escalate a potential bloodbath This is cool, this is different, and it can lead to some amazing emergent gameplay opportunities. Yeah, sometimes they betrayed me and I might have betrayed them once or twice, but most of the time, if I started speaking to someone, they spoke back and didn't shoot, we had a conversation. Sometimes it led to a gunfight, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes I'd go on to extract with that person or share loot, or pick up another raider on the way. Other times when we were playing in trios, we were asking nearby players on proximity chat to come and help us attempt to take down the Queen, which is this horrible giant boss AI. Yeah, it doesn't always...
It was not a lot of times. I can't remember the exact number, but that Queen was not beaten very much at all.
And you know what? Some days I just feel like shooting everyone on sight too, but the option and opportunity is there if you want to explore it. Another very important way that this game differs from most extraction games is with your progression. Yes, it's the same in the way that if you die while in a match, you will lose everything in your backpack and any guns that you were carrying on your person. And yes, there is a safe box with like 2 to 3 spaces where if you die, any loot in there is safe and guaranteed to come with you. So you would want to put your highly valuable items or rare quest gear in there. But, and this is a big but, there is also an overarching stat system in the back end, pun intended, that does not get reset if you die and is instead based on XP you're earning in a match. And that could be earned by doing objectives, searching loot, exploring, fighting, whatever. You can then...
I wonder like how much, like the one thing that they haven't said about this game is like seasonal reset. Is all of this, is your whole stat tree going to get reset season to season? What's going to carry over? You also have like your hideout, which you level up as well. I'm curious.
Level up various stats of your player using that XP here that, as far as I know, are permanent. And this means that, let's say you have an incredible game where you take down a big robot boss, you kill 12 players, discover the site of the Holy Grail, and almost extract at 29 minutes, but you get gunned down. Even if you die and lose all of your loot in that situation, the XP that you gained from all of those actions can be spent on this stat screen to, let's say, level up your endurance by 1%. It wasn't all for nothing, basically, which is one of the big reasons that a lot of players are turned off by extraction games, as they feel like they waste a lot of time. Maybe they were killed by a random sniper shot, not even aimed at them, or a jet engine fell on their head. It's okay.
True.
You've still got something out of it and you can build progress. I don't know what Embark's plan is for this long term though, if they intend to do wipes for the quests or maybe reset all of these personal stats after a season or whatever. We'll have to see. Could end up being very divisive in the community, whatever route they go for, but right now I'm on board with how they're working this system. Next, we're going to talk about the AI. AI in this game are no joke. There's a ton of variety, they have weak spots, they work together and are genuinely scary at times. They react quickly.
In solo, these are terrifying because your weapons do not have big magazines. And if you have to reload and you're not behind cover, they can just kill you. And you're dead.
Mess you up if you take them for granted. During the recent playtest, we ended up in many situations where we started a fight against another player squad. The noise from that brought other squads over. Then a load of AI drones would show up. Maybe they start shocking you, making noise, putting a red spotlight on you. So you have to try and take those out too while fighting other players. They give away your position. They call in bigger, scarier drones like the Rocketeer. You run away, you turn a corner, and you run into a Bastion, which is a giant tick with a minigun that instantly beams you. You can do awesome stuff like throwing lures at enemy teams to send AI in their direction while you escape. Thinking back, I was killed by the AI directly and indirectly on many occasions. There's also huge boss creatures like the aforementioned Queen here, which required a lot of damage, almost like little Destiny raid bosses. This thing has got multiple attacks. It can beam you from miles away. It can set fire to you and the ground around you. It can launch incendiary mortars at you. It can crush you. It can machine gun you down in a quick blast. It's not to be trifled with, but if you can take it down, which is quite difficult, the loot and resources are aplenty.
Okay, watch this. Oh, I just realized you lost your sniper, didn't you?
It's scared of you, Tom. Okay, maybe not.
So then it does that and then electrocutes me while I'm down. Oh my god, it killed me so quick.
Jesus Christ!
I know it's coming for you.
Look at that thing.
I died instantly.
I regret everything.
Oh my god, dude.
This is really cool related to the AI too. A viewer called Josh T emailed me this article from Medium in 2021 where Embark were talking about how they were using machine learning to create some of the AI in the game. If this is actually used in the current Ark Raiders build, it appears that some, if not all of the AI enemies in the game are not scripted in the typical video game sense. Looking at the article, quote, a self-taught physics-based creature moving and reacting to its surroundings, attempting to balance
Dude, that's almost creepy. That is literally almost
itself and try to continue to move even when you throw stuff at it or take away a limb, just like you would expect it to. So perhaps that's one of the reasons why the AI in this game feels so believable and unpredictable. There's a high chance that they taught themselves how to exist in this virtual world. So it looks like there might be a huge element of self-taught machine learning thrown in there for good measure. And also because this used to be a PvE game, I'd wager that Embark brought a lot of that work over to the now PvPvE version of the game. Fighting the AI is fun, interesting. It can have a big impact on the outcome of your game. It's not just an annoyance. I'm going to start wrapping things up here because I could talk for ages about this, but another thing I wanted to mention was that despite its simplicity on the surface, there's a surprising amount of depth and detail in the gameplay. Simple stuff like rolling when you land to not take damage, being able to climb on almost everything.
We watched another Jack Frags video on this game, and he went in like some of these like little details that you can do.
Robots, tricking people, throwing things that you find in game. There's so many items to use and things that you can do to experiment and outplay people. The physics engine definitely coming in clutch there for sure. There's a lot of simulation here. Overall, it's a very strong first impression from me. They've nailed the fundamentals, and I think the game is fun and addictive. I like the PvP, the PvE, the world, the progression. I want to play this game again. But look, I don't know, whenever Ark Raiders launches, maybe it'll be super laggy and run like crap. Maybe it's going to be infested with cheaters.
Could be.
Maybe there'll only be 3 maps and an awful live service. Maybe they'll put pay to win stuff in. Maybe the fact that it's only got third person will harm it in the long run. I don't know.
It will.
I'm not sure. Time is going to tell on that stuff. And wait and see before you personally spend any money on it. I guess there's going to be an open beta in the future at some point, so perhaps check it out then. But I think there could be something special here. To me, it feels like an actual quality PvPvE game in 2025. It's up to Embark to carry it over the line now. That's all for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this.
So, I think what's interesting about this is I think for a game to go absolutely gangbusters on the extraction shooter formula and what it is, I truly believe it probably needs to be a first-person shooter. Now, am I right? Maybe not. Like this is, I think, like this is the most I have enjoyed an extraction shooter just in general, and it's not a first-person shooter. So that could very well mean I'm wrong. But what the rumors is that Call of Duty is working on DMZ2. We have Marathon. I think Marathon's probably already like dead, and I'm literally worried for Bungie on that one. So I could be very wrong, but I do think the third person thing is a limiting factor for it. But from what I've seen and from what I have played, this is really, really good. Now it does confuse me a little bit because they made the finals. They can make a great first person shooter. So it shocks me that this is not, right? So I don't know, maybe do they put in a first person mode? Maybe, but I doubt it. I think they're pretty locked in with what they have, and they should be, because what they have is something really, really good.